3 years ago, IBM's CEO stood in front of Bloomberg cameras and said pretty much word for word that he could see 30% of IBM's workforce being replaced by AI. He paused hiring, headlines went everywhere, and understandably, people panicked. This week, IBM's chief HR officer stood at a summit in New York and said they're tripling entry-level hiring for software developers, HR roles, and, quote, all these jobs we're being told AI can do. Same company, same leadership, complete reversal. And I think this is genuinely important, not just because IBM is a 260,000 person bellwether for the enterprise tech industry, but because of why they flipped. The reasoning matters here, and it has real implications for everyone who's been watching the AI will replace developers conversation with either excitement or dread. Stick around because there's actually some nuance here worth unpacking, and it connects to something I touched on in my earlier video about Jensen Huang from NVIDIA. All right, so let's set the scene. May 2023, ChatGPT has the entire world spinning. Every tech CEO is being asked the same question. What does AI mean for your workforce? Most of them hedged, saying it'll augment, not replace humans and AI working together, the standard script, IBM CEO Arvind Krishna did not use the standard script. He told Bloomberg, and yes, I am paraphrasing here, that of IBM's roughly 26,000 non-customer facing employees like HR and back office staff, he could easily see 30% of those roles automated within 5 years. That's around 7,800 jobs, and IBM was going to stop hiring for positions it thought AI could handle. Now, to be fair, there was a caveat buried in there. IBM said at the time it wasn't a blanket freeze. They were still actively hiring for software development and customer-facing roles, but the signal was loud and AI is coming for back office work, and IBM wasn't going to even try to fight it. And then, 2 years later, May of 2025, IBM's CEO gave a talk at their annual Think conference and disclosed that they had already replaced hundreds of HR workers with AI. Their Ask HR agent had automated 94% of routine HR tasks, and their internal IT agent cut IT calls and chats by 70%. IBM claimed $3.5 billion in productivity gains from AI deployments across more than 70 business areas. So from the outside, this looks like the AI replacement thesis was playing out exactly as predicted. IBM tried it. IBM saved money. Sounds like a done deal, right? Except that's not where this story ends. February 12th of 2026, Charter's Leading with AI Summit in New York, Nicole Lamoureux, IBM's chief HR officer, takes the stage and drops this. The companies 3 to 5 years from now that are going to be the most successful are the companies that doubled down on entry-level hiring in this environment, not those that held the status quo or reduced it. IBM is tripling its entry-level hiring in the US in 2026. Software developers, cybersecurity analysts, AI engineers, HR roles across the board. And she added, and I love that she said this out loud, and yes, it's for all these jobs we're being told AI can do. Now, this isn't an admission, to be fair, that AI doesn't work or that the productivity gains weren't real. IBM hasn't technically walked that back. What they are walking back is the conclusion they drew from those gains, which was that fewer humans were therefore better. Lamoureux was explicit about why. She said the entry-level job descriptions from 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, AI can do most of those now, but rather than treating that as a reason to stop hiring, IBM reacted by rewriting the jobs entirely. Junior software developers in 2024 were spending 34 hours a week writing code. Now, with AI handling some more of the routine stuff, those same developers can spend more time talking to clients, collaborating with marketing teams, and accelerating product roadmaps. They're not just maintaining code, they're now building things and solving problems and being able to innovate and iterate. HR entry-level staff also aren't answering basic questions anymore. They're working alongside the AI, monitoring its performance, catching its mistakes, and handling the things that actually require human judgment, because that still is going to exist. The framing shift here is real, from AI replaces tasks to AI frees humans up to do more valuable things. But here's the part I want to spend a minute on, because this is the part that should make every CTO and CFO sit up a little bit straighter. Lamoureux made an argument that is both obvious in hindsight and completely absent from most of the AI will replace workers discourse. If you gut your entry-level pipeline now, you won't have mid-level talent in 3 to 5 years. Like, think about it. Senior developers, senior engineers, experienced managers, they all started somewhere, right? They spent years at the entry-level learning systems, building habits, absorbing company culture, getting mentored. Like, if you replace that pipeline with AI, you don't save the senior positions, you just delay a talent crisis. When you need to backfill those senior roles 5 years from now, you'll be competing on the open market for talent you didn't develop. External hires also cost more money when you could just develop it internally. They take longer to onboard, they bring less institutional knowledge, etc., etc. We all know this stuff, right? Wyatt Mayhem of Northwest AI Consulting put it well, saying companies that treat AI as a people replacement end up with brittle operations and a hollowed out talent pipeline. The ones getting the best results use AI to accelerate their employees, not eliminate them. This is what AI should be used for, right? And there's a really interesting flip side to this. Junior developers might actually be more valuable in the AI era, not less, because they haven't calcified into old habits yet. A senior dev given an AI coding tool will probably use it to do what they've always done, just faster. And a junior dev who learns to code with AI from day one builds entirely new mental models, as long as they understand the code that's being output and why it's being output, right? Because AI is just learning from itself and learning from crappy code, right? So you still, please, junior developers, still learn how to code. Ultimately, you'll see different possibilities and genuinely valuable in ways that are just hard to quantify, but easy to recognize if you know what you're looking for. IBM also isn't the only company going through this kind of recalibration. We've talked about Klarna before, but I do think it's still something worth touching on because it made everyone pay attention earlier. If you haven't followed the other Microslap Chronicle videos where we do touch on Klarna, they went hard on AI replacement, laid off hundreds of customer service workers, and then claimed their AI chatbot did the work of 700 full-time agents. And the CEO said publicly and on the record that I'm of the opinion that AI can already do all the jobs that we as humans do. By spring 2025, guess what they were doing? They were hiring humans again. The CEO's explanation was, as cost unfortunately seems to have been a too predominant valuation factor for organizing this, what you end up having is lower quality. Customers hated talking to the bots. Satisfaction dropped. Brand reputation took a massive hit. And the thing about brand damage is it doesn't show up in the same quarter as cost savings. It shows up later quietly in churn numbers. Klarna's case isn't a fringe story either. A survey of over 1,400 business executives found 55% of UK business leaders who rushed to replace jobs with AI now regret it. A separate Korn Ferry report found that 37% of organizations still plan to replace entry-level roles with AI, meaning the lesson hasn't fully landed yet. Klarna and IBM are both pointing in the same direction. The early replace everything instinct is bumping up against reality, And it's where all of us little people knew it was going to end up. Now, here's where it can get just a little bit more complex because the raw job data tells a mixed story. According to Manpower Group's Experis division, AI-related job postings jumped over 50% in January 2026. AI engineer roles grew 208% in 2025. Machine learning engineer roles were up 52%. But in the same data, software development engineer postings fell 16%. Java developer postings dropped 4%. And business systems analysts dropped 10%. So what's actually happening is a reshuffling, not a wholesale collapse. The old version of the entry-level dev job, the one where you mostly write boilerplate code and do basic testing, that market is contracting. But the new version of the job where you understand AI tooling, you can interface with clients, you can guide AI outputs and catch its mistakes, that market is growing fast. IBM is essentially betting that the companies best positioned to win in this environment are the ones who hire humans now and train for the new version of the job rather than waiting until the old job is obsolete and then scrambling. It's not humans versus AI, it's which companies are building the right human AI teams. In the earlier Jensen Huang video, I talked about the narrative from the top, from the people selling AI infrastructure. It's almost always going to be maximally bullish on AI's ability to replace human labor. That's not a conspiracy, it's just incentive alignment. Jensen sells chips. More AI adoption means more chip sales. Of course, he's going to tell you AI is going to do everything. But what we're seeing with IBM, with Klarna, with Dropbox even quietly expanding their graduate programs, these are companies actually using AI at scale, dealing with its real limitations and adjusting appropriately. And the adjustment isn't AI doesn't work. The adjustment is AI works great on clearly defined, repeatable tasks, and it changes what humans should be spending their time on, but it doesn't eliminate the need for humans. That's a very different message from AI who's replacing developers, and it's a more honest one. The replacement anxiety is real. I'm not dismissing it. I had a junior department get replaced by AI, okay? They'll probably regret it, but they did it. There are people whose specific job functions genuinely have been automated. That's true, but the framing that entire professions are just going to evaporate, IBM's own experience is evidence against that. They automated 94% of routine HR tasks and used the savings to hire more software developers and salespeople, not headcount flat to growing, right? The jobs don't disappear, they transform, and the companies that figure that out early are the ones that won't be begging for senior engineers in 2030 because they have nobody left in the pipeline. Now, I find this genuinely encouraging, not because AI isn't changing things, it clearly is, but because this is the first real evidence that I've seen, at least, that the correction is happening in real time at a company the size and influence of IBM. And let me be direct, IBM still has a lot to answer for. They did lay off thousands of workers between 2023 and 2025. The people who lost those jobs didn't magically get them back just because the CHRO gave a nice speech at a summit. The human cost of the experiment phase that we are in right now is real, but the direction of travel is what matters. When a $240 billion company explicitly reverses course, says the entry-level jobs where being told AI can do, yeah, we're gonna just triple those, that carries signal, and other companies are watching. Their board members are in those same summit rooms. The message is shifting, not everywhere, not all at once, and not fast enough, but it is shifting. So if you liked this content, I talk about technology, I talk about AI, I talk about gaming, and because of things like this, I have decided as an upper junior to mid developer that I want to learn the appropriate ways to grow my skills and incorporate AI so that I can be more valuable in this space moving forward. And I would love to take you guys on that journey with me. I can share what I've learned. We can do this together. I'll also be doing some gaming streams because I am a newer gamer and I want to play original Halo. And I hope you guys would like to come along for that. Don't worry, I'm still going to call out the AI industry because it still deserves to be called out. So go ahead and stay sharp. Don't believe the hype at the face value in any direction. And please subscribe or like this video. And if you have any comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, put them in the comments below. I would love to hear from you and your thoughts. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and peace out. Bye.